what we found is a huge gap between talent strategies and extended workforce strategies. And you can see the numbers up here. First number is, the extended workforce is a good source of in-demand skills. Tapping the extended workforce helps you become more agile, and that's a big theme in the report. Hiring in the extended workforce, and I know this is sometimes kind of maybe like the stepchild of the permatemp conversation that you were talking about earlier, but hiring in the extended workforce can enhance organizations' DE&I. The challenge is how to do it, and you can ask those questions. And then, obviously, it's a lot faster than regular employees. Yet, 38% of our respondents said that their extended workforce strategy is aligned with their overall talent strategy. And whenever I talk to somebody in the extended workforce, there's skepticism is a nice word about this data point. But Raleen, maybe I could just ask you to comment on this particular finding and maybe why it is this way.
I look at the numbers. They almost contradict one another, right? It's like you've gotten 5 guesses in on your Wordle and the numbers don't make sense and how you have to line up these boxes, right?
Right.
So you've got a series of executives who will all agree that the extended workforce is critical, it's valuable, and it's a part of our business strategy. But then when you actually go and look at the broader numbers, that orange block on the right, 38% suggest that their extended workforce is aligned to their broader business strategy. It's the minority of the organizations that were interviewed for the purposes of this study. How, when an organization looks at their business plan for the year and says, we need to launch this product, or we need to gain this market share, or we need to redefine and reposition in these ways, then they think about who and what resources they'll need to make that happen. How do they not know that an X portion of their workforce is extended from their full-time base and that they should consider that? I mean, this is something I've spent my entire career doing, right? Where are the candidates that you need? And what is the data telling us about how you should go after them? But we look at the data, and then I think it was Patrick who was talking earlier, and it can be frustrating. You keep feeding them this data, but it doesn't always feel like people are doing anything with it. It's an obvious phase that we're in now, especially coming out of COVID, when so many workers needed to figure out how they were deploying their extended workforce, right? How do you make that change and make it happen quickly? So, it's not a matter of this is the time or this is critical now. We're there. Everyone agrees with it. But now how do we have those conversations, the hard conversations to actually go forward and do it? Because you can't say in one hand, this is half of our most valuable asset in the business. And then on the other hand, say, but we don't have time to build it into the plan.
That 38% may well consist of people organizations that regard their contingent workforce as headcount and include them in their numbers, but they don't necessarily include the other types of extended workforce, resource augmentation and the like. Now, why include extended workforce in strategic workforce planning? Because otherwise you haven't got a bloody clue how much your whole organization's workforce is costing you, and you have no idea actually how many people you've got working for you, and you've got no idea whether you could actually be retaining people or cross-skilling people into roles that are currently dependent upon the provision of extended workforce over a prolonged period.